All right, so I went through the first 5 years of De Bazar, which actually is not a Czech publication, it's a German publication originally published in Berlin. And then eventually it was translated into a bunch of different languages, including English as Harper's Bazaar, starting in 1867. But these patterns right here that I'm going to show you, they're from the German edition before it was translated widely into other languages, before it was translated into Czech, which I think that started in 1869. So I went through and found 100 different things to talk about, and some of them I might actually make, and others, well, we'll see. Okay, so we're going to start with purses and bags. These, honestly, I feel like these are the most universal and long lasting. Like they're not really going to go out of fashion so much because they're such like an accessory. So who cares if they're weird, you know? Okay, so this is like a little money pouch and it's crocheted and it looks pretty simple, not necessarily easy because of all the color work, but yeah, it looks like it could be a fun project. The tassels are so funny. And I don't know, like I don't know what I would ever use that for because it's basically a reticule, which they're ridiculous. Really, they are completely useless um, things. But this might be something to carry D&D dice in or something like that. I don't know. This right here is actually I don't know what they're carrying there. It looks like some kind of fur or rug or something. But the harnesses thing, like, could be perfect for a yoga mat. Perfect. And it's not knitted or crocheted, but like it's still um it looks cool and I totally could make that. So this right here is the bottom of a bag. And I think it's a bag that's specifically for sewing stuff. But like the bottom is this weird shape, and then like it's a drawstring on the top, so then it'll sit flat. But I thought it was clever and kind of weird. This right here is kind of another yoga bag type thing. It's like, I don't know, it's like this long tube. It almost looks like a carpet bag. It's got so many pom-poms and it's just crazy. I bet it would work up really quick if you had like super bulky yarn and it could look really cool. I don't know what you would put in it. Maybe it's a duffel bag. I'm not exactly sure, but it's pretty funny. It might actually be a pillow, not a bag, now that I'm looking at it, but either way, it's pretty funny looking. This right here, I'm pretty sure that this is a bag for handwork again, and this is knit. And it looks like it's got like a handle that you can carry. I don't know, it's kind of bizarre looking, but it that's kind of the point of weird sewing bags is to be bizarre looking. This one I want to make right away. Like I think this would be really simple. This is not any kind of crochet as far as I can tell, but it looks like it's an embroidered pouch that I think I think the loop might be crocheted, but anyway, like you open it up and that's where you stick all your knitting needles. And like people make these today, but it'd be really cool to make one that was from so long ago. Like that's just really cool. Yeah, and this was in the previous image too. This right here, I'm pretty sure is a place where you store all of your sewing and knitting stuff. And so it's like a work bag, but it's got little containers. I thought that was kind of clever. Here we've got another reticule type thing where you it's like a drawstring purse that you can open. I don't think there's very much knitting on this one either. It's mostly just embroidery. It's kind of cool. This one, it's just so dainty. I imagine it being really, really tiny and like sticking down from your wrist, and it's just almost like a watch. And I think that's mostly beadwork on there, and I think it would be a pain in the butt to do, but it looks so dainty and cute and circular, different. I like that. This one I think is also for sewing stuff. So like there's the drawstring bag part where you can open it and it can get really, really big. So it can carry lots of stuff, but I really like how it has those other two straps that you can just carry over your shoulder or on your arm. I think that's really pretty. And I think that might be crochet in the middle, but I'm not 100% sure. I think this might be the last bag in the list. This is more like I think this is also a sewing bag technically, but I think it's like got more stiff structure. And I don't know, are those snaps on the side and like can it just like open up completely? I'm not exactly sure, but it's kind of a cool design. Okay, so now we're into shoes, which it should be called slippers. I'm pretty sure that nobody's really thinking about making structurally sound walking devices for your feet. But yeah, they're more like slippers. I really like this. I really want to make this. I think this was what in the one of the earliest editions. This might have been from the 1857 edition or 1859 maybe. But isn't that just so cool? It's a combination of knitting and crochet. And the tassels just like, oh, they like really add to it. I think if you um, felted it a little bit or like made sure that the bottom was felted, like pre-felted, then it could be like, it could last and be really fun to wear around the house. I love these slippers. I think they're so cool. I don't think my husband would like them. I think they're kind of too feminine. Um, this one, they're uh, American Indian inspired. So that's kind of cool. These are like clearly moccasins. I think that the bottom might be leather and then it's gathered together and then there's like all this beadwork on it. It's lovely. Like that is really beautiful. And, cultural appropriation or not, like I would totally wear that. Like that's just really cool. These ones I picked because they were different, kind of weird, but honestly, these kinds of sandals are terrible. Like wearing them is uncomfortable. They always fall off. Like I'm not sure why I picked these. Like, and anyway, I'm not sure what you would use as the base. Like it kind of looks like it's quilted fabric. Um, yeah, these won't last very long. I don't think I'd actually make this, but it is kind of different, and so I wanted to pick it to show. These ones I would totally wear. This is, I think this is crochet, and I like the border. Like that's a really interesting border. It looks like it's twisted yarn that was just sewed on, and that weird like fluffy thing. That's pretty cool. This one doesn't look too hard, actually. Like it looks pretty straightforward, although the shaping might be kind of difficult. Okay, so now we're into shawls, and I'm differentiating between shawls and capes, in that shawls are basically they can lay completely flat, and capes can't really lay in one layer completely flat. It's kind of arbitrary. I also don't have a section for scarves, so anything that's like a scarf is going to be in this section, like this. This is, I think it's an L shape, but it seems like it's pretty simple. It looks like it's just like a simple garter stitch knitting, and then it's got some crochet fringe on the side, and it looks very simple and straightforward to make. I really love how they have like almost photorealistic details of the each individual stitch in this magazine. It's just so cool. This one right here, I think you make this one on a frame, if I'm correct. I don't think this one is knitted or crocheted. And then you add all this weird lace to the edge, and I'm not sure how you do that. It would be kind of cool to learn how to make. It looks like there's some kind of I don't know, you can see there's like some kind of interesting edge or hem right here that probably helps reinforce it so it's not, going to fall apart. This one, they're suggesting that you wear it around your head, but it really is just a scarf and it's got some crocheted edges. It looks pretty simple and straightforward to make. And yeah, I think that would be a fun project to try to reinvent or reimagine. Here's a nice, beautiful shawl, and you can see it's this beautiful lace crochet, and then on the outside they've got like these ruffled edges, which I'm not sure if they're crochet on the outside edges, but I think it would be pretty easy to make. It's called a negligee something, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's only like a collar size, but it kind of looks like it's as big as a shawl to me. So I don't know. Here's another scarf. This one looks pretty straightforward and simple. I'm glad that the magazine has some simple projects. A lot of them are really complicated, and um, I didn't pick all of the ones that I really liked that were super complicated because I was like, there's no way I would actually make this. Although a lot of these things that I've showed you, I probably won't make anyway. There's now this section of hoods and hood-like things. Okay, so this is basically a balaclava, and it looks ridiculous on this guy, and his mustache looks ridiculous, but you know, this is 1860s. I think it would be really warm. I think it would be a really good ski mask, balaclava type thing, except it wouldn't cover your face. So it might be nice to like make it even a little bit bigger or like make it a mouth area. I'm not sure, but it looks kind of feminine with the tassel and the lace edging. And this was fully the first pattern that I found in the whole thing that was for men. And there really is hardly anything, but I know that this looks pretty simple and pretty useful. This one is the same idea, but a little bit more masculine. And I think this design is better. It will come all the way down onto your chest, and the neck, it'll be really tight against your neck with that ribbing, and it looks really, really practical for the winter. I think I would totally make that. This right here kind of looks like um they said it's like a summer hood, but it kind of, to me, this looks like Ren Fair-y. It's not knitting or anything like that. This is just a sewn pattern, but it's very pointy hood. I like this one, and I would unironically wear this. I think it's really pretty. I like the edge work on the outside. I'm not sure I would put the same ribbon in there. I'm not like a huge fan of ribbons, but it is really cute. This one is like a fascinator, and it's like got this really bumpy texture. You just like throw it around you. This actually probably should be in the scarf section because it looks like it's really just a scarf or a shawl, really. And this is talk about Ren Fair. This is this is a little bit ridiculous. It looks like a little gnome. It looks like it's just a triangle-ish shape that goes down with these long things that you just tie. It looks pretty warm, but it looks also kind of ridiculous. This one, I really like. One of the things I like the most about this is that there's a tie in the back. You see where it's like pulling your hair up a little bit and keeping it nice and tight, but I don't know, I thought that was kind of clever. I'm not sure I like the little white motif on the like these things right here. I'm not sure I love, or and down here. I'm not sure I love that, but I think I unironically wear this. Oh, and of course, this is gorgeous. I love the beautiful. Um, it's actually like a quilting pattern, that swirly lines. And I love the shape of the hood. I think that's really beautiful. Okay, so now the cloaks and capes. This is interesting because most of them are about the same pattern and shape, and these would totally fit into today's world. People could wear these because knit and crocheted cloaks and capes are still a thing that people like to wear. And you kind of have to be a little bit eclectic and weird, but it's not totally out of this world weird. It's not like wearing a bustle or something like that. This one looks pretty straightforward, kind of ornate, like look at all that fringe. I like the closure on this one at the top. I think that's really, really beautiful. I think this is mostly not knitted. I think it's mostly fabric with a little bit of like embellishment on the sides. I think it's probably lace that's been, it almost looks like rickrack that's been sewn down. Next we've got this one. It looks like it's kind of, well, so it's knit and crocheted. It looks like, um, I wonder if that's actually see-through, like if that netting is all that there is and then you can see through it or not. It's a little bit unclear because um, it almost looks like there's a piece of fabric underneath that, but I don't know. Maybe they're doing that so they could emphasize the stitches. You can actually see them. I'm not sure. This one's really beautiful. The fringe is amazing. I do think that that's more open netting, and it might even have a hood, or unless that's a collar. This might be Tunisian crochet. I'm not exactly sure. I love this. I think this is so cute. It's really for kids ages 5 to 8, but like you'd size it up, right? I think that's adorable. Really, really cute. And this one too. This is just adorable. I think this one would be for including like older sizes too. I think this one actually ends up having armholes underneath, so like it might end up being a little bit warmer, or like you could use your arms a little bit more easily. This one's kind of crazy and kind of weird. It's got that like tiled floor look, from the old castles like in France where it's the checkerboard, and then it's got these like pom-pom puffy things and this giant fringe. It's a little bit over the top. If I was gonna make this, I think I would go with crazy yarn colors, like bright neon colors, just to like emphasize how crazy and weird it is. Either that or go with like completely neutral, because you kind of just got to do one or the other. This one looks like a Sontag, and I like how, or at least a precursor to one, I like how it shows you how to wear it. Like you tie the back strings and and then you tie the front strings around you into the back. That seems really practical. I think this one is meant to be worn underneath your clothes, and just really primarily to keep you warm. But I think it's really practical, and I like the design. It also looks pretty simple to knit. This one is just the back. I wonder if there's the the front of the image. Usually in this magazine, it'll show the front and the back. I think that this almost looks like it's patriotic with the stripe. Like that almost looks like it could be red, white, and blue, and it could be a very you know, patriotic look, but it might almost end up looking Confederate flag-ish. So maybe not. Maybe two different colors. This one I like. I like the um, kind of like lace uh, square stripy edges. Those are kind of cool. Notice how like all of these have some really interesting tassels. It seems like I might need to learn how to make tassels. This one's different because the gathered, like there's a ruched gathered thing underneath the main part of the neck. I thought that was kind of interesting. It looks pretty straightforward to make. It looks like there's some kind of color work or maybe even intarsia or something like to make the color design. I'm not sure I love the neck, but this is totally something I would make. This one I don't love quite as much. I think that they're trying to go with like a faux ermine with the stripe, like the white and black stripe. I'm not entirely sure. And I'm not sure I really love the collar either. Like you'd have to make sure that the collar stayed perfectly flat. So you'd probably have to sew it down really good. But, it is different. So that's kind of fun. Here's another one that's like really over the top, and they did that technique where you pull the loops through. So like there's like these extra loopies, which is kind of interesting. I think this is mostly crochet, and then I think there's some embroidery on it with those like flower things. I think this would be an interesting project to make I'm not sure if you would want it to be, I think you would probably avoid doing green because then it would look like a 1970s shag rug, right? I really like this one where there's that like interesting design on the bottom. I'm not sure how they end up ended up making that though. I think it would be kind of fun to figure it out. There's so many of these, and you can tell they're all kind of similar. I think this one, um, the netting, I think it's supposed to be showing that it is see-through. So that's kind of interesting. The ruffles on the edge are kind of different. I'm not sure I really like that. I really like this. This looks like some kind of fancy work that or fancy thing that you would wear to prom or something. And I really like the fur edging. I think that really is fur. Um, yeah, and then here's some really, really long, long shawl. Well, they're really more like capes. I really like this. I like um, the one on the right slightly more, but they're both really beautiful. I think that either of these could be worn today without any hesitation. And then finally, this one is so long. I really like this. And I think again that there's probably a circle, like an armhole underneath the first layer so that you can like use your arms but still have something against your body. So this is basically a coat, but it's more like a cloak. I love it. I really want to make this one actually. Okay, so now we're going into jackets. What's the difference between a jacket and a cloak? Well, jackets have sleeves. This is a little jacket for a little kid, and it's a little over the top. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure, but it is kind of cute too. Here, see, I think I would wear this, but it would look different because our silhouettes, like we don't have that like bustle, right? And so it might not, it might look a little weird. But on the other hand, it might also still look kind of cool. And those big giant sleeves are kind of interesting too. I don't know. Like this is something I'm not entirely sure would be normal enough to wear, but I think it might be. This one, I'm also not sure if it's normal enough to wear. And I'm not sure about that waist. I kind of think that's a little exaggerated, but like maybe not. I think this is one that you just have to make and then see how it looks. Because I think it actually could look pretty good, like just as a shirt. I like the button closures, and I really like the sleeves. Like the sleeves look really kind of interesting. I'm not sure the shoulder would be that comfortable. I don't know. This is one where you really have to make it and see how it looks on. Here is a Slavic um they're calling it a cassock or a cassock, right? So I think that's some kind of coat. And I think that the motif is supposed to be Slavic-ish. It would be really loud. So I think if I was going to make this, I would want it to be like really muted so that it wouldn't even, like draw too much attention. Or yeah, make it like blue and gold, like really bright, something that just really, really pops. I like the buttons all the way down the front. That's really cool. And the collar is beautiful. Here's another one. I think that the um, crocheted edging is like it reminds me of some of the yarns that we have today, like the acrylic yarns that are really fluffy. I think this would look good, but I think again, like the silhouette, we don't have the same silhouette because we just don't have those big giant hoop skirts. So it's going to look a lot different on a modern silhouette. But I think it could still actually work. I'm not sure about the sleeves, but I think the lines in the back, like that's really cute. This is a Spanish jacket and it looks like there's, beads crocheted onto the edge. This looks like a little bolero of my Spanish jacket that I think would be really cute over a formal dress. This is actually really adorable. I think I really want to try to make that. Here's another one that's very similar, except that it's got embroidery on the work on the the collar, and it's a little bit longer. And I also think that maybe the shaping is a little bit better than the other one. Okay, so hair accessories. The reason I'm really into this is because I'm trying to stop a bad habit of scratching my head. So I need to wear something on my head in order to remind myself not to do that. But I've been looking for patterns and things that make it like I don't want to look Amish. Actually, I live in Utah, so it's more likely that I will look like a polygamist, and I don't want to look like either of those things. So I have been looking for things that I could actually wear and not be completely embarrassed to wear. Some of these, I don't know. We'll see. So I really like this weird, like drapey thing that you'd like put up and like it's got those big tassels and it like holds your hair. Like it seems really clever. I don't know how you would style it, and I'm not even sure exactly what it's called. I think I would actually wear that and enjoy it. There's also this um like bun cover almost is what it looks like, and I think you would probably have to do a lot of pinning to get that lace to stay still, but that looks pretty cool. This is really cool. I wouldn't wear it over like this. I would wear it like I'm wearing this bandana, but it is a little over the top. I don't know. It might be fun to make. This one is kind of cool. It kind of almost again looks like a bun cover with like it almost looks like a scrunchie, honestly. Like a headband, but in the back with a scrunchie, and then there's like a feather sticking up. I probably wouldn't use the feather, but like the rest of it, that looks pretty clever. This one, um, I don't know, like some of the ribbon, I'm not sure, but like it shows you the fillet pattern and like how to make it. And I think it could almost act like a snood, and it might look, you know, it would be weird looking, but it would also not look Amish or polygamist. Yeah, I'm not sure. This one might not actually be normal enough, but yeah, probably not. This kind of looks like you took a lace napkin and you are wearing it on your head. I don't know. Oh yeah, this really is a snood. It's like a ribbon with the net, and you seem to tie it like around your head or around just your bun. And I like it, and I like how it shows you exactly how to make it. It's just knot work. It looks like it, but I think there might even be one that's crocheted right next to it. This one looks like it's made of leather, but I don't think it actually is. And I don't know, like it would be weird. It's got like that weird snood thing at the bottom. I think this is one where you have to make it and then see how it actually works. A fez. I mean, who doesn't like a fez? Those are hilarious. And I think that's all crochet. So like that's great. You use some big bulky yarn and bright colors. Like that would be so great. This looks like a headband, and I thought it was really beautiful. Another headband, another headband, but this time it's got like fabric leaves. I think that's really pretty. This is more like a veil with pansies on it, but I think it's mostly meant to go on the back. So I think if I wore it, it wouldn't be too weird. It'd probably be kind of weird. This one would be totally weird. This almost looks like 1500s. Um, it looks like it's wire with all kinds of pearls or faux pearls, and I don't know, it would be kind of hard to make, but I definitely wouldn't be scratching my head if that thing was on. That is really cool. It looks like some kind of sequined headband. And I like how it's kind of just like sitting on the top of her head, kind of like a crown or a diadem. I think that's even what they're calling it. But it is really kind of different and pretty. Here's a hairnet, like a cloth hairnet, and it looks like they did some hair wrapping also, which is kind of interesting. I don't think this looks particularly polygamist. I think what it looks like is Renaissance Italian painting, like portrait painting, which is weird. But it's the kind of weird that I probably could get into. Here we've got another snood. and it's kind of like braided fabric with some interesting tassels. I don't know, it might be too weird, but it doesn't look polygamist, that's for sure. This looks like a roly-poly bug. If I were going to wear it, I probably wouldn't put the ribbon around my neck because I find that really constricting, but instead I would put it around the back and then tie it on the top. It almost looks like uh, almost 1940s, but of course it's like 100 years earlier. This right here is just a kerchief, and you could wear it under your neck or on the back. This is probably one of the first projects I'm actually going to make because this looks very straightforward. Another fez. This one has stars, and I think this one might be more for children. It looks a little bit smaller, but it's really cute. This one is for children, but I think I would unironically wear this. This might look a little polygamist-ish though, but it's basically a hairnet. It really would end up looking more like a snood. This is a hairnet, and it's supposed to be an invisible one, and I think that's clever that they have an image of how it works. Another fascinator. Again, this could be more like a scarf. I think if I were to wear this again, I would probably wear it the way I'm wearing my handkerchief now. This is kind of cool. It's like a barrette with like a ribbon thing that goes in the front, so it like keeps it up, but it has like a bag for your hair. Probably that invisible hairnet, right? This is a fanchon, and I think this is really pretty. Like I like how this looks. It's weird, but I would probably wear it. Probably not like that, but I don't know. Another snood-like thing. And now we get to household items. This right here is a piano bench cover. I thought that was kind of interesting and cool. Here is a puff, so like a pillow, and that that looks kind of fun. I don't know what that design is. It almost looks like a seahorse. This looks like a trash can to me. I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be, but it totally looks like a trash can. Okay, so gloves. These are totally impractical gloves, but they're kind of cool looking, and it might be fun to figure it out. I don't understand why those are so puffy. Maybe it's got something to do with the way that their sleeves were, so it would go over it, but it seems like a little bit excessive. I don't know. Maybe it was just, uh, I don't know. I'm not sure. Some more impractical lace gloves. Yeah. Uh, and another kind of interesting, weird, like, that's really going to be really, really puffy, but it's probably warm. So there's that. I like these. These, they show you one version with fingers and one without, and either way it could be really useful. Okay, so this isn't actually a pattern, but this is uh, like they had a reprint of it twice in the um, 6-year section that I was looking at, and this is fun. It's like hand shadows, and that's just cool. I didn't know where to put this, but this is a knee warmer. Looks very straightforward and simple to make. Kind of interesting that they have it. I wonder who it's really for. Maybe someone with arthritis? I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm probably destined to get into tatting someday. Looks like I might start here. Oh, these are cool. These are leg warmers. I would probably make this for myself, not for a kid, but I like how there's you know, the thing that keeps it on, but then it just looks fancy and kind of cool. I think it would go over their stocking. I'm not sure if it goes over their shoe either. Like it might even go over their shoe, which maybe that's, I don't know how they would prevent the elastic part from, I'm not even sure if it's elastic, but the cloth part from getting super worn out. Maybe they just replace that a lot. I'm not really sure. This right here is a sleeve. And I think I'm going to make this because I have cubital tunnel syndrome. If I make it like a little bit tight, then it could act as like a brace that I can wear during the day that's not the really uncomfortable brace. Yeah, this didn't fit in the category of things with sleeves. This doesn't have sleeves. It's a cute little vest, though. I would totally wear that, like, without hesitation. Some aprons. This looks really cute. There's some good pockets on that one. This one has some cute fringe. I like the tassels too. There's so many tassels in this book. This one looks really cute. I especially like the triangle belt part. Like that is really, really pretty. And finally, the last category, there's some weirdness going on that I just had to include because what? Okay, this is a child's jacket. What? It's so over the top. It's so over the top. It looks like Tudor, like with the big fluffy Henry VIII, like fluffy sleeves. That poor child. Like, what? Ugh, this is so ridiculous. Ugh. What is this? I think this is bottle cap. I know this isn't for a person. Maybe it's for a doll. I'm not exactly sure, but the cone head? Why? Like, what? What is this? It's so weird. And finally, what is this? Like, this is super hilarious. I don't understand what it is though. Like, I what? Like, is that a doll? Like, it's not for a person. I think it's an accessory for something, and I think it's supposed to be funny, and it is funny, but it's also what? Anyway, those are the projects that I have been looking at, and hopefully I'll get started on some of them. Probably not this one.